Bombshell news, folks. Harry and Meghan's $100 million Netflix deal is dead. That's right, it's game over. Finito, the end, placing the couple in an unprecedented financial crisis. Now, insiders at the streaming giant have told the Mail Online that the relationship with the Sussexes is now over following two major flops: Meghan's lifestyle show, With Love Meghan, and Harry's incredibly boring polo documentary, Polo. What an inspiring title that was. Now, a Netflix source told the paper the deal is dead. Meghan had everything going for her, her name, her platform, lots of press, and the numbers were dismal. This insider goes on to tell the paper they're just waiting for the credits to roll on this deal. They're letting it expire without drama. There's no appetite, and this is a damning sentence, there is no appetite for anything new from the couple. So the statistics about the shows that they've provided to Netflix are quite shocking. So, for example, With Love Meghan, which, of course, this program comprehensively reviewed, which affected my mental health. I've still got PTSD from Meghan's flower sprinkles, which in my view are toxic, hallucinogenic, and by the way, people aren't supposed to eat flowers. So With Love Meghan was critically destroyed, but also no one watched it. With Love Meghan failed to break into Netflix's top 300 shows for the first half of 2025. And that is in the context of all the publicity that the show accrued. Lots of PR, lots of column inches, no one watching. In fact, With Love Meghan, which was excruciatingly fake, it was boring, it demonstrated that Meghan Markle can't cook. She's not a homeware expert, right? She's no Martha Stewart. She's more Rod Stewart than Martha Stewart. She's not a TV host. She's got no charm. It was a crushingly embarrassing program, but it didn't even hit the top 100 of shows. It was beaten by repeats of Suits, which is, of course, the legal drama that made Meghan a star in the first place. I use the term star quite loosely. So she's been beaten by a rerun of her old show that she's desperate to move on from, because, of course, Meghan's not an actress anymore. Now she's a humanitarian, she's a broadcaster, she's an influencer, apparently. Well, she's not influencing the management of Netflix, and management Netflix have decided we are out. Have you seen that show, Shark Tank, or in Britain, Dragon's Den? Well, basically, Netflix have done the equivalent of saying, we're not investing this money. We are out because you are uninvestable. Harry's documentary Polo was even worse, right? This ranked 3,436 out of the 7,000 shows on Netflix. It drew a few 100,000 viewers over 6 months. And this is, by the way, a production from Prince Harry, who's supposed to be a very influential figure, right? One of the most famous men in the world. His father is the king of the United Kingdom, but he couldn't get anyone to watch his humdrum show, Polo. And Polo, by the way, is exciting, but Harry's got this ability to suck the life out of any project. The guy's a dead weight, isn't he? He is such a, what is the expression they use for the Americans say this, it's a buzzkill, isn't it? Harry just comes into the room. Normally, when a figure comes into the room, like Princess Catherine, some iconic figure like that, when they come into a room, the room lights up, doesn't it? And when Harry comes into the room darkens. And there's just a haze of misery around that man wherever he goes. So he's got the opposite of the Midas touch. The Midas touch involved you touch the thing, it turns to gold. Everything Harry touches turns to mud or something else which is brown, which we won't go into because the Mark Dolan show is a family show. It's family friendly. Bring the kids in. They might learn something. So the statistics are absolutely shocking. A second season of With Love Meghan is coming because it was announced. And of course, they made it at the same time as season 1, which was a huge mistake. Because let me tell you, I've been in broadcasting for 25 years. I know I don't look it. I'm very well preserved. And I've just come back from America where I had an awful lot of plastic surgery, as I think you can see. I've had a tummy tuck. I've had a neck lift. I've had the eyes raised, the lips, as you can see, are puffier than usual. Mrs. Dolan can't believe her luck. Mwah! And I tried to get a bum lift, but they had difficulty locating the bum, and therefore that's been postponed until my next visit. But I've been in broadcasting a long time, and I will tell you that you don't make series back to back. until you know what the audience think of that show. So With Love Meghan, season 1 was obnoxious. It was offensive. It was rude. It was an insult to our intelligence, and no one watched it. And the reviews were terrible. Even the ultra-woke Guardian hated it, which tells you something. So it was a terrible show, and no one watched it. But you don't make 2 seasons back-to-back, therefore, because they made that show in a vacuum. What they could have done, if they'd recorded season 1 and seen the critical response, then they could have changed the formula, maybe given Meghan a new script, maybe got a better host in. Just replace Meghan with Gordon Ramsay. With Love Gordon. We'd all watch that, wouldn't we? He'd have his guests on. He'd be swearing at them. It would be a great TV show. With Love Gordon. I would do it. I would step in. Okay, on behalf of the audience of the Mark Dolan show, I would do this for you. I would step in. I would take over the With Love Meghan show, and it would be called With Love Mark. And I would ask you in the comments to provide me with the recipes, and I would do those recipes on TV, and it would be real. First of all, we would do it in my actual house, because I'm not a fake like Meghan, who did it in a pretend house, which was worth $8 million, a fraction of her Montecito mansion, which is $20 million. But she pretended it was her house, pretended it was her garden. Nothing was real, not even her smile. And all she did was attack her friends on the show. She had a go at one of her friends for being too tall. You're so tall. What an obnoxious thing to say to a beautiful Amazonian friend of hers, a Brazilian lady who was very tall. You're so tall. Just because Meghan's so jealous because she's troll-like. I mean, if Meghan wants to go back into acting, she could actually reprise the role of one of those little, what do you call them? The urchin in Lord of the Rings. The little dwarf trolley characters. She'd be perfect. Hello, I'm Meghan, the special troll, looking for the magical ring. Didn't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore? I'm Meghan Sussex. She'd be perfect. Bring her back. She wouldn't need any prosthetics. The woman is terrifying as she is. But she's, compared to this, she had a Brazilian, apparently one of her best friends, this Brazilian beauty who's a model and an entrepreneur and actually accomplished, unlike Meghan. And she walks into the show and onto set. And Meghan looks up at her and goes, "You're so tall." Truly, truly obnoxious. And of course, let's not forget, as I've just quoted there, when she said to the actress Mindy Kaling, actress, comedian, writer and producer Mindy Kaling, and she said, don't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore, I'm Meghan Sussex. So she could barely disguise her unattractive personality in that show, even though it was scripted and edited. And they've made a mistake of doing all 16 shows back to back. So season 2 is going to be car crash TV. It will be as bad because, like I said, they recorded it in a bubble without the viewer feedback. And even fewer people will watch. But there is one person who will be watching, and it's yours truly. I will be watching on your behalf every single episode, which actually is a bad idea because if the show has one viewer, that means there's a small chance it gets recommissioned by Netflix. I don't really want that to happen, but I have my duties here. I would easily take over the show with Love Mark. I would do it in my house. There would be real recipes provided by the viewers of the Mark Dolan show, which is a growing audience, right? We're at the zenith of a broadcasting revolution here. The Mark Dolan show with a simple stated goal, which is to be the #1 talk show in the world. That is the goal. And I'll be honest, we are on our way. But yeah, my show would be real just like this one is. Anyhow, Meghan's, it's a complete disaster. And you know what? They've got big problems because the couple are absolutely broke. Okay, and I broke the story, no pun intended, but I revealed to you just a few weeks ago that Harry's broke and that money worries are a big source of tension between the couple. He doesn't have a job. He's unemployed. I mean, he's got a travel firm, which is apparently all about environmentally friendly travel, which is a contradiction in terms. If you travel, unless you're in a sailing boat, you're going to have a carbon footprint. And what else has he got? Centibale is a smoking ruin of a charity. He's got Invictus, which obviously it's a charity, doesn't make him any money. Where's his income? There is none. And of course, he can't do Spare 2 because he's sold his soul to the devil. He's told all the stories. There is no more leverage there with publishers. So Harry's broke, but the couple are now broke because also this figure of 100 million is not true. It's actually fake news. Because, in fact, according to the Mail Online, who have done their homework, they know their onions, they are likely to have pocketed closer to $10 to $15 million over the 5 years of the deal, right? Not 100 million. That will include the production budget, the producers. 80 people worked on With Love Meghan. 80 people. When we do With Love Mark, okay, there'll just be 2 people working on it. Me, Mark Dolan, and cameraman John. That will be it. By the way, we're just back from America. A lot of you want to know what I bought Mrs. Dolan as a gift when I came back, because there were some Chanel bags at Rodeo Drive which were retailing at $25,000. We are on a budget here on the Mark Dolan Show, and Mrs. Dolan shouldn't wish for me to waste money either. So there was no Chanel bag. I went to the amazing farmers market. Where's this going? The farmers market in LA, which is about 100 years old. It's an incredible place. Great experience. You've got food and drink, amazing vegetables, meats, counters, butchers, hot cooked food. There's an amazing couple of bars there. So I got some, sadly, I couldn't get hold of any Budweiser, which is the king of beers. We know that because it's written on every bottle and in every can. But I got some other great craft beers whilst I was in this farmer's market. And when you have the drink in the farmer's market, you're allowed to just walk around with your beer, looking at the other stalls and other concessions in the farmer's market. So I'm wandering around with a little glass of beer in my hand, searching for a gift for Mrs. Dolan, which is not going to be a 25k Chanel bag. And I found an amazing spectacle shop, and I bought Mrs. Dolan some very glamorous glasses, which are very Gigi, top American design. She's very happy. And a practical travel mug, because I'm, if nothing else, I'm not practical. So, or I am. Anyway, there you go. So that's the answer. She's very happy with the glasses. They're extremely glamorous and bring out her eyes, which is great news. So, look, let's get back to this. The Netflix deal was not $100 million. Okay? They are likely to have pocketed closer to $10 to $15 million over 5 years. And don't forget, when you put the taxes in, especially California, which is very taxed, you're only keeping half of that. So that's $6-7 million after tax. And what the reports are saying is Netflix invested in the couple. They only had one hit, which was the docu-series Harry and Meghan. And the reason why that was a hit is because that's when they had some value, because they had the stories about the royal family, the royal soap opera. So that's when Meghan maliciously mocked Queen Elizabeth with the curtsy gesture, and when they basically chucked the whole family, the royal family and the monarchy and the British people, under the bus. So, they sold their soul, and that was a successful thing. But that was it. That was a one-hit wonder. You can't keep doing that. That's why there won't be a spare 2. Let's crunch the numbers on just how poor Harry and Meghan are now. Flat broke. They are widely reported to have taken out a mortgage on their $20 million house, with repayments apparently standing at $480,000 a year. That's $500,000 a year just to keep a roof over their heads. On top of this, the property tax will be a further $68,000 a year. So we're approaching $600K just for the house, okay, annually. Don't forget, you have to make $1 million for that, because when you're a high earner, half of your money goes to the tax man. So that's just the house. Utilities are estimated at $24,000 a year. Staffing costs, $300K. Quite easily. There's somebody that comes to their house to clean out the koi pond. Can you imagine? Or is it koi? I know nothing about fish. They could be trout for all I know. But the bottom line is that somebody comes to clean the pool, clean the pond, take out the garbage, all the rest of it. Utilities, so that's $24K a year. Staffing costs $300. And of course, security, which is upwards of $3 million a year. So this adds up to needing to clear around $4 million a year after tax, which is very difficult given the fact that this couple have now lost the Netflix deal. Don't forget that Meghan's also given up her podcast, which has a stolen name, Confessions of a Female Founder. That's gone. There's no season 2 because apparently she's not in the correct narrative arc for another series yet. She wants to wait a few years. Well, she'll be living on Skid Row by the time season 2 drops. Also, sources indicate that the price that Harry and Meghan paid to run their Archewell production company is also significant, maybe around $3 million a year as well. And that's not the end of it, because they travel everywhere by private jet. And do not forget that Harry has lost several court cases which have set him back $3 million, because I'm afraid to say he is a perpetual loser with his rather churlish legal battles with the British establishment. So speculation about future projects for the couple. There may be the possibility of one-off projects, but only under one circumstance. Isn't it fascinating, this, right? And this ties in with everything I've been telling you for weeks now. The Netflix insider has said there could be another Meghan show on Netflix under these circumstances. It will happen on the occasion of Harry and Meghan's divorce. Now, you know that the Mark Dolan show is the first show in the world to place Harry and Meghan on 24/7 Divorce Watch. The marriage will end. It's a question of if not when. I say that with no pleasure. I'm not a home wrecker, but that is just a reality, that it's a toxic relationship. It's a borderline abusive relationship. It's incredibly negative, particularly for Harry, who's been turned against his family, his country, and the monarchy by his wife, by little Mrs. Markle. My husband! I call him H. So, if there is a divorce, there will be more Meghan material. And you know what that's going to be? That will be a TV series that ties in with Meghan's autobiography. The reason why Meghan Markle does so many posts on Instagram and why she's using Archie and Lily now to sell her brand and to get her numbers up is because she's preparing for life on her own. And she knows that the As Ever brand with the flower sprinkles, which people aren't supposed to eat flowers, toxic, hallucinogenic, thanks but no thanks. I mean, seriously, what was she thinking? You're not supposed to eat flowers. The As Ever brand has got, it's literally the first company in the history of commerce to have no products. It's been going for months now. The wine's sold out, which that Napa Valley wine, it'll be the really rough end of Napa where the drug dealers are. And she's probably made it from crushed flower sprinkles, so it'll have hallucinogenic effects, which I might drink her wine when I'm watching season 2 with Love Meghan just to get me through it. I like to live in America. I like to live in America. I like to live in America. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not fully across the lyrical depth of that song, but my goodness. Leonard Bernstein, I think. West Side Story. My favourite musical, I think. That and The Lion King. We've got work to do. There is no time for me to sing You Can, You Feel the Love Tonight because we're busy. We've got work to do, maybe at the end. Okay. Right. So massive. You see, Elton John, that's a successful guy. That's a guy that brings in millions of dollars a year because of an incredible back catalogue of work. All right. This guy doesn't have to get out of bed and he's 50 million in his back pocket annually without even opening his eyelids because of an incredible body of extraordinary work. Meghan hasn't got that. She hasn't got any of that. And now the deal is dead. But if she divorces Harry, the H-bomb, my husband, didn't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore? I'm a troll from Lord of the Rings. Looking for the magical ring. Too much decaf today. Right. Lots more stories to get through. But let me just finish this. I've got the latest on the Kiss Cam couple. It's a huge story. I've got the latest, right? The wife, the furious wife, is in hiding in their multi-million-dollar mansion. You won't want to miss that. It's coming up in just a moment. But let's talk just about this massive line. You see, this is what we do on the Mark Dolan show. I've got some great colleagues out there covering showbiz, current affairs, royal stories, all of the elites, right? It's a very, very high standard journalism on YouTube and beyond. And this wonderful exclusive on the Netflix cancellation comes from the Mail Online, who are world class for their royal stories. But there is something that the Mark Dolan show does that others don't do. And that's where we dig deep into the story. First show in the world to put the couple on Divorce Watch. First show in the world to notice that Meghan and Harry's message to Princess Catherine on her cancer diagnosis didn't contain the word love. okay, because we have critical judgment, and I know a story because I have the nose of a bloodhound, and the rest of my face isn't great either. And here's what we're going to do. We are going to penetrate into this particular element of the story, right, that others haven't picked up on. And it's the idea that there will only be a new Meghan Netflix show if and when the couple divorce. And this plays into everything that we've said on the show, which is that Meghan is completely laying the foundations for her life beyond Harry. She claims to be a gardener, right? She's not a gardener, because you can't be a gardener producing seasonal vegetables that are all ripe and in season on the same day and perfectly clean, even though they've just come out of the soil. I'm sure when I saw that basket, she pretended she'd been gardening all day, and then she presented this perfectly clean basket of pristine, in-season fruit and vegetables. I think I saw a Whole Foods label on one of those kumquats. Right, so, but, she is sowing the seeds, and there will be a Netflix show, and it'll be called Meghan, My Story. And she will do to Harry what she and Harry did to the royal family. And Harry will get a taste of his own medicine, and he'll see that his betrayal of the royal family, his treasonous acts, will be visited upon him next. He's next in the firing line. And the show will be called Meghan, My Story. And she'll say, "Oh, it was terrible. Harry never asked me how I was feeling. And Harry was broke. He was so broke the whole time, right? You should have watched the Mark Dolan show on YouTube, because he called it months ago that Harry's broke. He was flat broke, and I made all the money, and I had all the fame, and I'm so beautiful and pretty. And Harry, I'll be honest, he was so miserable to be around. He's like the world's least happy millionaire. Humpy dumpy dumpy dump. Poor Prince Harry, most miserable millionaire in the world. Humpy dumpy dumpy dump." And that's what she's going to do. She will take Harry down, and she will take him down to Chinatown, is where she'll take him, to Chinatown, which sells East Asian cuisine, which is very carbohydrate heavy. A lot of noodles, a lot of heavy sauces. She will take him down to Chinatown for the carbohydrates in Chinatown, carbohydrate town, China. She will take him down to Chinatown. And she'll do it on TV with a show called Meghan, My Story. Don't you know, I'm not Meghan Sussex anymore. What will she be next? I think she's going to marry Elon Musk. I'm Meghan Musk. I'm Megan Buffett, and I fell in love with Warren Buffett, not because he's a multi-billionaire, because I'm interested in money now, because that's the final piece in the jigsaw. I just love Warren Buffett, and he's so handsome, and he makes me laugh, and I call him W. My husband, WB. I love Warren Buffett, and it's not his money. I've always found 85-year-old men from Nebraska attractive. It's a good look for me. And it's not the money. He's a very handsome man. And I love Warren Buffett, who I call W. And I love to buff the Buffett. And I do that of an evening. I buff the Buffett. She will divorce Harry. She'll find a billionaire, and she couldn't care less if it was the poor old Warren Buffett, who it would be his worst investment, wouldn't it, marrying Meghan Markle. Or Elon, who is single, and they don't share the same politics, but she doesn't care. I'm not sure she believes anything anyway, except the hype around herself. And there will be a show, and it will be called Meghan, My Story, and it will get great ratings. And Netflix will pay her a lot of money for that show. Netflix will pay her... How much will they pay her? I think they'll pay her... Let me just pluck a figure out of thin air based upon my knowledge of the media. I think that one series, which is called Meghan, My Story, is $25 million. I really do. Right? And that is in her back pocket. So do you see how Meghan is already financially incentivized to divorce Harry? She divorces Harry, she's instantly a rich woman, which the couple are not at the moment. They are flat broke. So, and don't forget, she'll inherit half of everything that Harry's got, including the $15 million he inherited from his mother Diana when she passed, and of course the Queen Mother, several $1 million from the Queen Mother as well back in the day. So Meghan will get half of that money, which will infuriate King Charles because he'll consider that to be Windsor money, which Meghan runs off with, of course, because there's no prenup. Another exclusive revelation from the Mark Dolan show. We revealed several weeks ago that Harry and Meghan have no prenup. So he loses half his fortune. She keeps the fame and she walks into a golden sweetheart deal with Netflix. The dead cadaver that is her broadcasting career will be reawakened in some kind of horror film style. And she will go on TV and she'll tell the story, and it will be called Meghan My Story. $25 million. And then are you ready for this? It will be backed up by and it will be supported by a book of the same name. So Netflix show 25 million. The book, well, Harry got 20 million for Spare, didn't he? So what does Meghan get for her book, which will be even more unscrupulous because Meghan's there's no morals whatsoever. I think that she'll get 30 or $40 million. She'll get double what Harry got. Call it 40. So that suddenly Meghan divorces Harry immediately. She's $65 million up. And there'll be newspaper serializations and all the rest of it. So she's made if she divorces Harry. And we have the basis of that, from the fact that she threatened to write a book. She was on a podcast recently and they said, is there going to be a Meghan book? And she said, not at the moment, which not at the moment. That's 4 words that should send a shiver down the spine of Prince Harry, the world's least happy millionaire, who's about to become the world's poorest millionaire as well. Before we go, let me give you an update on the couple caught having an affair on camera at a Coldplay concert, something called the kiss cam, where the camera at a concert points to a couple who look like they're in love, then they kiss each other, unlike Harry and Meghan. Meghan refused to do that to Harry. But this couple were working together for a company called Astronomer, and they thought they could have their affair and enjoy a romantic concert with Coldplay, little knowing that a camera would point in their direction, outing them as a pair of philanderers, a pair of rather disgraceful adulterers. So it's Andy Byron and Christine Kabot. So Andy Byron is the CEO of this company, Astronomer, and Christine Kabot is apparently head of people at the company. More emphasis on head than people by the sounds of it. Family show, be careful. But the bottom line is that they've been outed. Well, a big new development, which is that Andy Byron's wife, who's obviously clearly devastated about what's happened. How embarrassing, how humiliating for the wife. Now, that her husband should commit adultery on such a public stage. These people were never expecting to be famous. They're boring corporate types who, if they want to be exciting, they go on a white water rafting away day with their colleagues, just like for team bonding. They go camping in Yosemite National Park. Yosemite! That's as exciting as it gets for these very boring corporate types. But sadly, their lives became very unboring when they appeared on a big screen at a concert, arm in arm, very intimately. So Meghan Byron is the wife. She has retreated to their $2.4 million mansion. Now, you won't believe this. That's not even their main house, right? These people are so rich that the holiday home for vacations is actually more expensive than the house in which they live. So their actual house is in Northborough, Massachusetts. So Northborough, Massachusetts, $1.4 million home, that buys you plenty in Massachusetts, let me tell you. But their holiday home is in Maine, which is a beautiful American wilderness, right? $2.4 million is how much their holiday home is worth. And Meghan Byron, who's a very beautiful lady. I mean, I don't know what the hell he was thinking having an affair. Meghan is 50 and she looks about 30. She's a stunning lady. She's laying low at the $2.5 million mansion in Maine whilst holding crisis talks over her marriage. I'll tell you who she's talking to. She's not talking to Andy Byron, her disgraceful now ex-husband. She's talking to her lawyer, and she'll be on the phone to a Californian lawyer, and he'll be like, "Don't worry, sweetheart, we'll take everything." Because the Californian lawyers, they don't mess around. "Don't worry, baby, we will take him down, and we will take him down to the carbohydrate-rich city that is Chinatown for noodles and very calorie-rich sauces." So she fled their $1.4 million home in Northborough, Massachusetts, moving to their Kennebunk, Maine property, which is 106 miles away. Now, apparently the family have been rallying around Meghan. I'm talking here about not Meghan Markle, right? Meghan Byron, the jilted wife. And several family members, including her older sister Maura, rushed to her side after the viral footage broke. And I'll bet you that Maura is bad-mouthing Andy altogether. She's like, "I told you should never have married that man. He's a pig. He's disgusting." Their 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 4,500 square foot home saw family members coming and going over the weekend, though Andy Byron's presence remains unconfirmed. Where is Andy Byron? Maybe he's hiding in the underground crypt in Montecito that inhabits Prince Harry. Maybe Harry and Andy are there trying to work out who's more miserable now at the moment. So this lady, the jilted wife, has not publicly commented on her husband's alleged affair. I don't know why we're saying alleged. They were all over each other like a rash. She removed his name from her social media, reverting to her maiden name, Kerrigan, which is always a power move. And joyful family photos with Andy Byron and their 2 sons on Facebook have been deleted. How do the kids feel, by the way? 2 young kids, devastating that their father behaved in this way. One of the family smiling on a hiking trip, and a graduation for one of the boys, all deleted. In the hiking photo that was deleted, both parents and their 2 children have their arms around each other as they grin for the camera in front of a creek. Well, he's up SHIT Creek now, isn't he? Without a paddle. And it's funny how the photo of the family, he's got his arm around the kids. Over at the Coldplay concert, he had his arm around the head of HR, the head of people at this company, which is called The Astronaut or some nonsense name. Anyway, neighbours in Kennebunk spoke to the press. One local said everyone has seen it, but the family did not want to talk about it. This is the video. Everyone's seen the video, the damning kiss cam footage. Others called Andy's behaviour disgusting whilst asking for privacy for the family. I mentioned this in yesterday's show, and your comments were very interesting. Some of you sympathetic, some of you not to this guy. Most of you not, I should stress. He is the bad guy. He's had the affair. Adultery is wrong, provably wrong. But he got that company to a value of $1 billion. What is his great crime? I mean, he's not broken the law, has he? The guy's not going to jail anytime soon. He's done an immoral act. And as I said earlier, it's a love story. He's in love with this woman. Cupid's arrow has been shot in his direction. Why should he lose a company that he has grown to a value of $1 billion? And here's the other thing. He's actually boosted the value of the company, because I would say that Astronomer is now worth $2 billion. Because the recognition of this brand is absolutely huge. I mean, you and I were not talking about Astronomer a few weeks ago, but if you now have, you need a data solution, you start Googling companies who are going to fix your data issues, and Astronomer comes up, you're like, well, I've heard of them. We've got, Acme IT, and then you've got, some other generic brand for computer solutions. And then Astronomer comes up with a smiling picture of Andy, right? You're going to go to them because they have the recognition. I think he should sue. And the rather smug new CEO has spoken out. He's so happy. He's called Pete DeJoy, and I bet he's experiencing a bit of DeJoy today. How dare he take over and jump on the grave of this man, Andy, that's done so much to build up the company and has now made it world famous. They should have given Big Andy, right? Big Andy Byron. They should have given him a pay rise, because you've put us on the map. And also, you and Christian are going to be a dream team in the office now because she will do anything for you. We know that. We've seen the tape. But this Pete DeJoy, he doesn't give any credit to Andy for building up the company. And he is now going to enjoy surfing that wave of fame and infamy that someone else has given to the brand. It's quite interesting because looking at the details of these people. So will Andy and Meghan's marriage end? Yes, I think it will. And he's going to be stony broke. Will he get another job in the corporate world? Well, the guy's got expertise. If he can make a company worth $1 billion, capitalism has no ethics. He'll be snapped up. If the Mark Dolan show had the budget, if I wanted someone to oversee this production and to make us number one in the world, because the Mark Dolan show has a clear goal, which is to be the number one talk show in the world. Let me know in the comments if the budget was there, which currently it's not, but if it were there, I could give the guy some shares, couldn't I? But should I get Andy Byron to run the Mark Dolan show and take us to number one? What do you think? I might hire him and Kristin. What I won't do, though, is ever leave them alone together in a room. That's not going to happen. They'll have separate offices and I'll be present at all times. I might install a kiss cam in every office just to make sure the two of them don't misbehave. Anyhow, so look, he's accomplished. His career's over. It strikes me, I think the punishment, he'll be punished with the divorce, okay, and the disgrace of his family. I think the guy suffered enough. The other woman is Christine Kabot, who I feel has been let off the hook a little bit. But she is the person that participated in this affair too. She's married to Andrew Kabot, the CEO of Privateer Rum, which is a rum company. And I've got no doubt the poor guy is drinking through his own supplies at the moment to manage this crisis. She's deleted her LinkedIn. And she's a divorcee as well. She's had a complicated love life. But her family are very interesting, and his, because the Kabot family, of course, she's married into that. They are Boston's elite family. The Kabots are an aristocratic Boston family with a legacy dating back to the American Revolution. Their fortune, rooted in rum distilling, is estimated at $15 billion. Well, I'll tell you something. Old Christine will be getting a chunk of that when they divorce as well. Let me know in the comments, do you think that both of these couples should divorce? And should they remarry? Because if they remarried, what they can do is something very simple. Kristin and Andy marry. They give the wedding rights to Hello Magazine. So that's a free wedding and it will be a massive multi-million-dollar event. And there'll be lots of celebrities will go because celebrities are so shallow. This couple are now famous. And I mean, Oprah will go because Oprah goes to the opening of an envelope now. She used to be a moral crusader. Then she goes to Jeff Bezos' wedding, which was a sort of exercise in, what would you call it? Conspicuous consumption, right? An immoral $1 million diamond fest. She's quite happy to go to that because she loves a freebie, does our Oprah. Anyway, Oprah would go. A few other celebrities would turn up. George Clooney, if he's in between projects, banging on about, I had to put on weight for the part and grown a beard. Enough, George, please. So boring. Anyway, celebrities would go. It would be a free wedding. They could have it. Hello Magazine would probably pay for that stadium where the kiss cam was, and they could actually kiss on the kiss cam to consummate their relationship. Then there would be a Netflix documentary called Our Love Affair. Andy and the names of these people, Andy and Kristin. And then there would be the movie. Can you imagine the movie, the book and movie rights to their story? Forbidden Love. With who's going to play Andy? Someone with grey hair and sort of chiseled good looks. Maybe Clooney gets it. Clooney might do it, actually, even though I'd have to sit through boring meetings with him. I love George Clooney, don't get me wrong. I'm just a bit dull sometimes. And then Kristin Kabot will be played by Cameron Diaz, I think, fair-haired beauty. I've interviewed Cameron Diaz. What a stunning lady. What a natural, great person. Anyhow, there you go. The movie rights, the book rights, the Hello wedding. Make it make sense? Well, I think it makes a lot of sense because, yes, they're bad people, but it's the ultimate love story. But love has gone south for Harry and Meghan, who are now flat broke and have lost their Netflix deal. Truly shocking stuff. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're alerted when the next video comes in. I want you to subscribe because I want you to be part of this family and part of this broadcasting revolution so that we can hit #1. Can't wait to see you for tomorrow's video. So many more truth bombs, exposing celebrity elites, royal bombshells, and much besides. See you tomorrow. Bye for now. Can you feel the love tonight?